Okay, in the next section, what I want to do is add that little green line to all the menu, the first level menu that we have on many sections here in this site. So right now we don't have that in our website. Sorry, I'm going to go back to the home page. So latest news is one example. So about a company. So let's add that green line. We already have that as an image. So let's add that to our menu. So the first thing, if we follow the training just like Mikey did, all of those are header and they are header 1, H1. So I don't want to target all of them altogether. I just want to target some of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class and I'm going to use that class to target the different menu that I want. So I've already done that on many items on the page. Just to save time, I'm just going to show you how to create one, and it's going to be the same thing for all of them. So let's go with about a company. I'm going to edit that element, and in that element, in the styling section, we have the possibility to add a class or an ID. So just a quick recap about class and IDs. An ID is for something that is unique in the page. We created one in the first video for header. So we cannot have more than one ID called header in the page, so we will use an ID. A class is something that can be reused many times and not necessarily always on the same type of object. It can be on one image and then on one text and then on one table and so on. So since this one we can reuse it many times in each page, we're going to use a class. So I'm going to call that small green line. Never put any space, by the way. And I'm going to simply click save. Save my page. And I'm going to go back to my MicroThemer page and just refresh my page to make sure that this class is now applied to the page that I have. So now let's select one of them. So for example, about a company here, if I double click it, you'll see that it does recognize the small green line H1. If I use the small green line H1, like in this case for example, you see that it takes the entire line. And if I just use the small green line itself, which is a div, it does take the entire line as well. So I could take one or the other, but I'm going to take the inner one, which is the H1 itself. Right now everything is an H1 if we use this styling just like in the tutorials. The reason I'm going to do that is that I'm going to change that whole line behavior so that we don't just have that space here, so that we can have the green line just after this one. Because right now if we add it, it's going to be at the end of this line here. That's not what I want. But since I still want that to take the block, the div will still take the block, but the H1, which is inside here, this one will simply take this space here, the space of the text. So it will always be after the text. So with my inspector, I'm going to go with the div small green line H1. So that's going to be fine for now. So let's call that the small green line in title, let's say, something like that. And I'm going to put that in the content folder. Let's click create selector. Now, what I need to do, first of all, like I said, I'm going to just put a background color, and you don't need to do that, of course, but this is just to show you the size of my current element. So let's put that, of course, with the opacity to 1. And now you can see that it takes the entire line right now, and this is the H1, not the div itself. So let's go inside the behavior section, which is set by default to block, as you can see, which means the entire line. And I'm going to switch that to inline. Just like, for example, a link is inline, an image is inline, the strong for bold is inline, and so on. So now it has the same behavior. Remember, it's inside a div that still takes the entire line, but now this one only takes the width of the element itself, which is the text. I want to have the green line. I'm going to put that as a background image because if you recall, that's an image. I'm going to use that as a background image as opposed to what we had for the menu, for example. And of course, I don't want it to be inside of that red area. I want it to be on the right of it. So what I need to do is extend that area. Now the line has around 47 pixels from memory. So we're going to put a little bit more than that just to make sure that we have space between the text and the line itself. So I'm going to go with something like 60. So I'm going to go inside the padding and margin section and I'm going to add some padding to it. So let's add to the right of it, let's add 60 pixels. So that would add some space here, as you can see. Now I can add my green line. So I'm going to go in the background section. I'm going to remove my red. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to add that as a background image. So let's click on that button here for background image. You're supposed to already have the green line, small green line here. And I'm going to insert that. And of course, boom, everything is green now. Why is that? Well, because by default, an image is a little bit like a color. It repeats itself always. So I'm going to say, instead of repeat, I'm going to say no repeat here. So by default, it will be on the top left. So I'm going to change the position here from left top to right bottom. And here we go. We have way enough space, it doesn't repeat, so it's on the right side at the bottom like that. And since I already added that class to my other titles, as you can see, it is already present everywhere. So this is how I would add that little line here inside of ProStyler skeleton template using MicroThemer. If you want to know more about MicroThemer, by the way, you can visit my site microthemer.nullmedia.ca/microthemer-presentation, where you have an example video, you have more information about MicroThemer, and of course you can download the free version or you can buy from my link. And if you do buy from my link, you will have access to that website here, which will allow you to have access to a bunch of training about MicroThemer using ProStyler specifically. So just as an example, as you can see, you also have a support ticket, by the way, if you have any questions about MicroThemer or ProStyler. And right now there are near 30 video, and I'm keeping adding new video as well. And you can even ask your own question, and I will try to answer them through a video most of the time. So in-depth training only available right now for those who buy MicroThemer from my link. So thank you. Have a good day.